And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Dragon Quest XI Echoes of Elusive Age. I'm your host, the RPG Guy. And, okay, so I've leveled up a bunch, a couple of levels per character, through the metal magic trick, the metal slime trick. I've also made the effort to craft some goodies. Nothing major really came out of it, to be fair. So I didn't think too much about it. And I wanted to do this really quick so you could see what we get. And what is it? Okay, so technically that is done. Oops, shit. What did I do? No. Let me see here. So it's only usable by their chance of meeting rarefied forms of monsters slightly increases. So it's a neat little goodie if you're trying to get metal slimes to show up. So ultimately, it's meh. You know, because we could force them to show up on our own. But if you want to get them to show up while you're in combat, there's another way. That's the way you can go about doing it. Let us go ahead and head to the Fortress of Fear. It's time for us to move on here. Now that I've leveled my characters up, they have access to new skills. Specifically Hendrik, who has access to swinging his axe multiple times, putting him on par, if not even better than Jade. So clearly, for boss fights, they're going to be our output. Our hero is really the backup healer, which is strange. You know, he and I guess if we went down the greatsword path, he'd be more usable offensively. But he makes a really good backup healer with Omni Heal. So that's why I chose the Luminary path more than I chose with the swords. Because some of you are like, why didn't you get Giga Gash? Why didn't you get Giga Slash? It didn't feel like I needed it, to be fair. Because you have to remember, it's based on their lightning-based attacks, so it's... To me, it's like, But if you want a stronger offensive hero, then yeah, the way to do it would be to go down the greatsword path. But you don't need to necessarily have that. Okay, big turnout. Let's just do this. And you can see they're down. And you can see I also had new gear made and all that hubbubaloo. As best as I could. And most of it was accessories, so that's why I'm not making I didn't make the effort to just show all that stuff, because it was all accessories you saw that we just needed sapphires for. And so, yeah, I'm not, again, it's, I've shown you guys most of the crafting, so by any stretch of the imagination, you at this point should know how I've been making all my gear. Go more, yeah. So it's not like it's some sweet mystery of life or anything at this point, at this juncture. Because it is time to tackle the big boys. What the hell?
That voice. Veronica? Is it really you?
It's a sack full of lies.
Huh? Serena? You're both here. Oh, thank heavens. I've been so lonely in this horrible, cold, miserable place all by myself.
That doesn't sound like something she'd tell us.
Now you're here. Can I ask you something? Can I ask you to die?
Yeah.
You'll do that for me, won't you? I mean, I had to die and you didn't. That can't be fair, can it? So come on, what do you say? Will you die for me or not? I wanted to live, but because of you, I couldn't. So let's even things up. Come on, drop dead.
What a bitch.
No!
Flee, foul phantom, dark intrusion. Light dispel this black illusion. Veronica would never have said such awful things. Go on, be off with you.
All hail Satan, our overlord.
She didn't regret a thing. I know she didn't. She died with hope in her heart. Hope that we would bring back the light.
This is your doing. I sense it. Jasper, show yourself!
Still, you speak of hope? Of light? Even now, with one of your little band beyond saving, your faith is sickening.
So is your onion breath.
My dear Hendrik, still you cling stubbornly to life. You never did know when to give up. Yet another virtue to despise in you. You come here seeking an audience with my master, I suppose. Well, I'm afraid I shall have to disappoint you. I would ask you to leave politely. But we both know you are too pig-headed to listen, and besides, I would not want your journey to have been in vain.
Oh boy.
Gaze upon me and despair, Hendrik. I have surpassed you at last.
Fool! You have surpassed me in wickedness and naught else.
Bold words indeed. But you will pay for them with your life. I shall offer up your broken bodies in tribute to Almighty Mordegon.
Yeah, big words there, tough guy. Because at the end of the day, it's Jasper, the unfriendly demon lord. Time to die, bro. So first things first, revamp. Let's see here. Really, there's not much buffing that he can really do. Ow. That's bad. That's really bad. Can we cure that? Wait, what? Okay, we did. Alright. I was like, wait, what? Okay. So, multi-feet or multi-thrust. Multi-feet. So that's 503, and we'll test it next round and see how much damage it does. And then here we have cut above, which is 6 attacks. He didn't actually outdamage Jade so much, but it's still fine. We need to oomph. Actually, Hendrix maxed out, so I don't know why I did that. So this was just over 500. Let's try multi-thrust. Yeah, so for 2 or more MP, they do about the same amount of damage, to be fair. And they've been neutralized. And then we'll oomph Jade. And actually, we don't need her to revamp because we don't really need anything else out of her, so multi-thrust. If she would have gotten that 4th one, it would have been more damage. Oh. God damn it. And nice, we get the free double cast. Nash actually does even more damage, just... There it is. Nice. Oh. 40 grand, baby, yeah! Yeah. Salvando levels. Everybody should, I think, should level. So, no, not actually, that's not true. Serena, we don't have much to spend it on with her. To be fair, I almost don't know where to really spend it. So we'll go down this path. What do we need for this? 2 more panels, so we'll go with the cheapest panels we can get. Even though it really isn't going to matter. And actually, when you really think about it, that's a really good skill. Avoids instant death. Status ailments from a single party member, huh? And there's dual wielding, not that we care about that. And then Silvando can learn a new skill. So we're in these ones that are worth 20, or we go with Gold Rush, or Have a Ball. Oh my god. Take the Gold Rush. And I think everybody else is... Well, what about you, sir? 25. So we can't learn that. We're not going to bother.
How? I am
Very carefully, sir. Very carefully indeed.
Again, you surpass me. Again, you outdo me. Again, you leave me behind.
Yeah, funny how that works out, isn't it?
The more you bathed in glory, the more brightly you shone, the more I receded into shadow.
It sucks to be you, doesn't it, bro?
Do you know what it was that I always wanted?
A little toy doll named Bert.
I wanted to be like you.
Well, I don't think this was the right route, bro. Not gonna lie.
Come.
Okay. Strangely enough, we are at full health. We're not out of this yet, are we? Let's keep moving, shall we? Head up to here.
I sense pure evil on the other side. It can only be him.
Damn.
Mordigan. At last the time has come to face him.
Why do you look like Alucard? And just as a heads up, too, I want to let you know our grinding session was only about an hour.
No fair! Let me go!
Can't move.
For those of you wondering about my high level, I don't grind that much. We haven't had to grind that much in this game.
Did you think me beaten? Did you think you had bested me? I, Jasper, Supreme Commander of the Spectral Sentinels?
Well, I did think your ass whooping that I did first was good enough.
Didn't we beat all of these guys? How can they be back?
Oh, Hendrik, your face. Now you will see who has left who behind. By all means, go to face my master luminary, but know that you will do so alone. Your friends here will be staying with us.
Okay.
No, he shall not go alone. I swore an oath. I am the Luminary's sword, his shield, his unswerving companion.
We all are. We're in this together. If we face Mordigan, we face him as one.
Aye, if you think I'm missing my chance to get revenge for my Eleanor after all these years, you've another thing coming.
You tell him, Rab.
Don't worry, darling. I'm with you all the way. We're going to bring smiles and sunshine back to the world if it's the last thing we do.
Thanks, Sylvando.
I promised Veronica I would finish this, and that's a promise I mean to keep.
Sylvando's story arc is kind of the weakest of all these characters.
We're in this together. I'm not leaving anyone to suffer alone. Ever again. I'm supposed to help the Luminary, and that means to the bitter end.
Oh, they're going Super Saiyan! Get wrecked!
No, I am not beaten. I cannot be. Master, just one more chance, please.
It is over. Jasper, be still.
No, I cannot die yet. I have yet to surpass you.
You speak of surpassing me, but in truth it is I who always followed in your wake. You were the one who spurred me on, the light that guided me. Without you, I would never have become myself. How is it that you never knew?
Hendrik,
And he's dead. It's called Set Aside Your Ego. Be one with yourself. Try to understand the world around you. My nipples are hard just thinking about it. Beer.
It is time. Mordigan must pay.
Diddly-doo. And let's go see. Let's go see Uncle Morty. See how he's holding up. We get the luxury of running all the way down this hallway. Oop. The order of ultimate evil waits within. Yes, I'm sure I want to enter. Let's do this. Hello? Is anybody home? Evil Supreme Lord of Darkness, are you here? Avon calling.
So you have come, Luminary.
Yes, and I slain your Grubhub. Suffer no food for you.
But you are too late. The source of life is no more. Erdrir is veiled in darkness, and I reign supreme.
Oh man, Taco Bell breath.
Yggdrasil is dead. You are naught but leaves blown on the wind.
Soon he's gonna just be, stop killing me. I'm the Lord of Darkness. Stop killing me, bro. That's how this is gonna play out, bro. Just letting you know. Dude is jacked. Captain Ginyu? And the love child of Captain Ginyu and Mr. Popo. And maybe Piccolo in there too. They had a weird three-way.
Eyes shine with a sickening light, just as did those of the hero of old. Fools. Why do you never learn? Love, hope, dreams, worthless, mere words. And yet your faith in them refuses to die. But no longer. I shall carve a despair into the human soul that will last until your kind finally dwindles and dies.
Bring it, tough guy. I've got your name. I've got your ass. Alright, so let's get to it, because this guy's not going to kill himself. Revamp. And... just a little bit of damage. Double up. And then let's go with Umflee on Jade. And I might actually put speed up on the party if we can have access to it. I forget if she can be cast or not. Ooh, damn! That kind of blows. Let's see here. Transformer again. And if he keeps debuffing us, we're just gonna go for the attacks here. We'll give it one more shot, though.
I hope this helps.
Not hurt enough while Serena is, so... let's just go with something a little cheaper on Serena. We can Omni heal when he attacks us again. Oh boy. It's a group of enemies, though. And that solves that problem. Nice. Not really what we need. Let's keep it cheap. God damn. Everybody's going Super Saiyan. Ooh. We'll take this. That's my better judgment, because it gives us HP and MP recovery. Why not, right? Oh, they're dancing! Oh, yeah! Ow. Motherfucker taking my MP away! I think we can recover it now. I don't know why I did multi-feed again when I know it's not as good as the other one. 738. Oh, yeah, son. Time to get wrecked. You know what? I'm worried. Well, I'm a little worried. Okay, I was like, Jack Tart should get a turn here. So we can pop an Omni heal. Uh-oh. Ooh! That's gonna leave a mark. But because of that, let's do... Nice. Oh, man, pretty good damage. And then we'll go with multi-heal. Multi-heal's pretty strong, so... Oh, no. Oh. You son of a bitch.
Don't worry, I'm here to help.
Probably should be... Well, no, I don't want to use Omni Slash because it's gonna hurt too much. In other words, it's gonna hurt too much on the MP front here. And we can just power full heal Numbnuts. And we're still buffed, so let's just multi-thrust. And he's down. Take that, tough guy. Those Tostina pizza rolls were making me boo.
So this is the power of the luminary.
Yes, it is.
Impressive.
I'm jacked, bro.
But I tired of these games.
What the fuck?
I am Mordegon, master of all things. I call upon the power of the sword. All must be destroyed.
Whatever you say there, bro. Oh god, he's going. He's transforming.
Children of Yggdrasil, denizens of light, I will snuff out your lives. You will dwell with me in darkness.
Well, you don't say there, big guy. That's some breath of death stuff right there. Let's get it on. Let's do this. Okay, so let's see here. We're kind of at the mercy of what we can target, so let's revamp. Double up. Ow, I'm on fire. Ow, he hit me. Let us full heal Jacktard here. It's cheap, why not? Let us actually Accelerado right out the gate. And then we'll do multi-thrust. Cut above. He's not pepped anymore, which is fine. Hopefully he doesn't hit Serena. Yeah, very, very good. Let us oomph Jade to get her the rest, or attack the rest of the way up, and then we'll have Jacktard heal. As long as we're doing okay here. Yeah. We're hurting a little bit, but Jacktard will have to heal. It's multi-thrust. Nice. And everybody's been debuffed. That's bad. That's alright, that's just what's gonna happen sometimes. We need... Oh, Serena's up. Back to Jade. When Jade revamps, she'll be buffed all the way. Jacktard should get a turn before the boss does. If not, that'll be kind of weird. There we go. Problem solved. be fair, Jade doesn't technically need a revamp. Actually, the Umfli brought her up pretty high. So I'll just have her on healing duty at this point. Nice.
We'll soon have that patched up.
Get him! Get him! And that debuffs everyone. And then, yeah, we're gonna have to go through this kind of weird pattern here of buffing, debuffing, and back and forth. But having Jack Tart out with Omni Heal is really what's gonna make this a more feasible battle. And now they're both out here. We're probably gonna go after, I would say, the dragon one. Just because of that kind of crap too. We don't want to have to deal with that. We don't need to be healed. So let's put... Well, either Jack Tart gets an attack or they get accelerated. Let's accelerate. So we're gonna go for Mortigan here instead of the Lord of Shadows. So we can get what's her name back. There we go. Nice. Boy. I don't think we have anything he can use item-wise, so let's just go with Falcon Slash. We gotta really get this guy down. Oh boy. That's bad. Well, she's going large in charge. But I don't really have the means to correct that. We will in a minute, but at this point... Come on. Still going. Hendrik might go down, actually. I didn't think this through. Depending on who he attacks. Oh, nice block. Oh, no. Healer's sleeping. We need him to heal no matter what, so... On his next turn, though, he'll be able to correct course here. This is gonna hurt. There we go. Like he thinks I'm gonna back down just because he did that to me. That's why shields are useful, kids. That's why shields are useful. No joke, because that literally is deflecting magic at this point. Oh yeah. He's gotta be almost dead. Nice crit. And he's down. And his MP's restored, that's fine. Let's go with revamp. You know, get her attack up somehow at this point. Actually... And you know what you know what this means, y'all. Pet power, brownie boost. We don't need to see this again. But we're gonna have to use an Omni heal to get kind of correct course here, and we're not gonna use we're gonna use a cut above just because we need to be careful with the healing. Because yeah, the other attack does a little bit more damage, but you have to ask yourself at what cost, right? Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that again. God damn it. At least now our attack is buffed to 2. Again, we need to get Omni heal out there. Or maybe not even Omni heal, let's just get multi heal. She might get a double cast, which would be nice. She didn't get it. It's okay. Oh god damn it! Oh. See, I'm trying to rush this and it's not helping me here. Like losing like on like half a grand of damage each round because I keep screwing that up. Okay. Multi heal.
I'm here to help.
Ooh! I got Serena. Alright, let's do it right this time. Abilities. Multi-thrust. And he's down. Suck it, Lord of Shadows and Mordrigan. I just whooped your ass, bitch. And we get the Sword of Shadows. Nice. Oh, you gonna cry? The only thing you master is baiting, my friend. He's jerking himself off. Bye, Felicia. See ya, sucker!
It's over.
You have done well to defeat Mordegon. Thanks to you, life and light will return to Erdrea at last.
What happened to my fabulous costumes?
Who was that?
out of here. Now.
Oh man, it's a fire sale! Oh my god! Woo! And there goes the fortress. Bye, little fortress.
Finally got rid of Mordegon.
Yes. But so many lives have been lost. Look, that light! Does this mean... Yes, the World Tree. It's alive.
Oh yeah. Guys got any krill? Kinda hungry.
Mordegon's passing must have freed the heart of Yggdrasil from his clutches.
I wish Veronica could have been here to see this.
I think it's time to go home, don't you?
It's flat. I'm just kidding. That's right, guys. We saved the day. Because that's what we do here at Jack Tart Studios. We save the day. One RPG game at a time. Now, normally, I would sit here and tell you my whole stance on the game, but I'm not gonna do that quite yet, because there's a bit more. Like with many of the the later Dragon Quest games. So let me just talk about the overall story that we experienced. This game gets compared a lot to Final Fantasy VI for some reason, and I understand the reason. I just don't agree with it, and to the extent. And then the other, I just want to see who played certain characters really quick. Huh. Interesting. I knew it was him, but I wasn't sure. Anywho, getting back on point. This game gets compared a lot to, or competitively compared to, Dragon Quest VIII. Now, the stories are very different. Okay, they're not the same stories by any stretch of the imagination. But people argue which Dragon Quest game is better when it comes to story. And the debate is internally Dragon Quest 8, 11, and some people even push 7 really hard. Some people say 4 is really good too. I forget if it was 4 or 5. I don't really... I know I've played the older ones. I know them rather well, but I've not heard too many about anything before 8 being like so amazing and needs to be talked about to extreme lengths. Now, if we narrow it down to these two games story-wise, which one has the better story and better characters and all that? And personally, it's 11. Dragon Quest 11 did the best job with its characters. They all are very interesting. They're well written characters. Their faults tend to be more of two. The faults tend to fall on two characters specifically. We'll talk about that. The rest of the character and cast, their stories are nice. They come full circle. You see them grow as characters and all that kind of stuff. And not to say that you don't see that with the other two characters that I'm not as big of a fan of story arc wise, but it's done to such a lesser degree that it almost seems irrelevant. And that's just a personal stance. So some of you might be saying, well, what are you talking about? And I would say Eric and Sylvando's story arcs are pretty weak. And that's my stance on that. Eric's is kind of haphazardly structured. It's like they made a character. It almost feels like they made that character, didn't know what to do with him, story-wise, so they just stuck something in there at the end, which is fine. It's not obtrusive, and Eric as a character has enough personality that you can let that go. It's easier, rather, to let that go. Sylvando, his story arc is a bit more ambiguous for a good chunk of the game, but it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on at certain points. But as far as the overall story of him spreading happiness is just kind of weak. Eric's story arc actually is better connected to the main party than Sylvando's is. Sylvando's story is a little more proactive throughout the game, but ultimately it leads to still a weaker kind of finish. So those two characters I'm not a big fan of. And I don't mean that they're bad. I just say, in accordance to this game, they're the weakest of the protagonists, of the main protagonists. Obviously, Serena and Veronica are great, well-written characters. Hendrik has the turnaround with him, and that's always a fun storyline and story arc to see, especially with a character like him, where you hate him at first because he's so stubborn, and then he finally comes around. Rab and Jade, of course, come full circle as well. Though the part where she's kind of like a sex slave or an exotic slave to one of the monsters is a little weird, but it's for fan service. So be it as it may, it's fun. The overall story, of course, is this very similar trope. It's the chosen one trope. But here's the thing, and I'm going to make this very clear, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, storylines that are cliched, that are recycled and reused arcs, there's nothing wrong with that. They just have to be well written and well structured, which this game did a really good job of doing. Another example would be Lunar the Silver Star story. It's very been overdone before. Long before that game was made, it was overdone. And it was well written with likable characters that you want to see succeed, and that's the art and the art of good story writing. Unlike, I don't dare be controversial here, but Captain Marvel, nobody cared about Carol Danvers in that movie because she wasn't that much of a likable character, so nobody cared what the resolution to her arc was. I'm not trying to be like political or anything. I'm just pointing out differences here. Now let's look at Dragon Quest VIII. And Dragon Quest VIII, again, it's a similar kind of story. It's not a chosen one story. Well, it kind of is. It's passively a chosen one story. It's they came from a powerful ancient background and then are unknown to unbeknownst to them or unbeknownst to they're the chosen one through ancestry, versus the Luminary being the chosen one through some means of, I guess, random chosen by Yggdrasil. And so it's a similar kind of story, and you have 4 main characters plus 2 secondary characters who are all part of the protagonist group. And again, in that instance, it's not bad. I would say Yengus is probably the most unique character in that entourage, and King Trode's pretty fun. But overall, it's just the characters and their story arcs are more focused. So there's no character with a wasted story arc like in this one. I felt Eric and Sylvando to be a little wasted, but it doesn't make it bad. The difference, though, is that the character writing in 11 overall tends to be better. Even the characters that are written well are written very, very well compared to what they are in 8. Now, what 8 has over 11 is the overworld exploration. It's a bigger world. It feels more interactive. Because you literally, for a lot of the game, have to travel on foot from place to place. You do here, but the regions are so small in comparison. And when you are exploring in Dragon Quest VIII, it really feels like you're exploring this vast, endless world. And there's a lot of empty space in that world, too, which is, whereas this tries to maximize space and content. So, again, you have this all play out in different ways. And I don't personally have issue with that. I think, so to me, that's better. Villains. Dragon Quest XI's main villain is actually weaker than... Or Dragon Quest XI's main villain's a little weaker than Dragon Quest VIII. Dragon Quest VIII's villain actually sticks with you. You see him moving from place to place, causing chaos and carnage. A bit better, I would say a bit better than you see it here. So his presence is more ominous. The build-up to the Dresster form of Rapthorn's really good. The second half is a little weak. When it's spoiler alert, when it's not I'll just say when it's not the Jester form of Rapthorn. In this game, Mordegon is just not as interesting. And it's mainly because he's so absent. He's absent through a lot. And you're saying, well, the King of Heliodor is the antagonist, and so is Jasper. And I'm like, okay, but you don't even really interact. You interact more with Hendrik than you do with Jasper and the King, and that makes sense because of Hendrik being the person that joins the group. So I get that instance, but for me personally, there it's not enough. It's a little on the weaker side because of that. Where is even more so, I prefer the villain more in Dragon Quest VIII. And I stand by that statement every step of the way. The Dragon Quest VIII villain is pretty darn good. And I think that there's a whole lot to it that needs to be explored. That could have been explored. Mordegon's presence. We never actually fight him in his wizard-like evil lord form. Lord of Shadows defeated and Purse returns to the world. Yay. But wait, there's more! A few days later, Jack and his companions gather in Arborea to remember their friend Veronica. So for me, that's the trade-off. But both games, to be fair, have a weak villain. And Dragon Quest 8 and 11, that it's still something they need to fix. This has been a problem with the Final Fantasies of recent, too. The villains have just been really, really weak. And I think it's because their presence is so, they get to these god tier levels of existence, and then it's like if the characters interact with the ultimate villain too soon, then it's like, well, where do you go from there, right? So for me, that's really how I feel about it. So how do I rate the story? This is the best story to come out of Square Enix, in my opinion. Not including, and I'll give them a break on Octopath Traveler, but this is the best story all round written since probably Final Fantasy X. And it's a reminder to the fan base that they can make this stuff if they want to. They just choose not to do it very often. And I think that, and they're specifically holding it to the Dragon Quest series, and I really do think that they need to bring this type of storytelling and structure back to the Final Fantasy series. This is like a Final Fantasy game to write, but it's Dragon Quest. And remember, those two genres were in direct competition with each other back in the day. So I definitely recommend that element of it in that story. But there's more. That's right. There's an epilogue quest. So you bet your butt we're going to do it. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JackTar Studios for more live gaming action. And when we come back, we will be tackling that prologue, and you don't want to miss out on it. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys the next time with Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age prologue. No, prologue. No, the prologue's beginning. The epilogue. We'll see you there.